John Coltrane, the greatest tenor sax player of all time, is playing Naima, an individual tenor sax solo that is later addressed by the classic tune of the piano. His sound pops right away. These pops of sound mixed with his melodic movements leave you waiting for more, but leaving you with nothing. Coltrane's notes reflect his own voice through revealing his somber and adrift sequences to express his sporadic emotions. For me, these emotions include confusion yet excitement. Nevertheless, his careful and real playing demonstrates a contrasting dynamic, maybe bittersweet. Coltrane mixes all these colors so we don't only feel happy or sad, but a combination of these emotions. For me, Coltrane's expressing the roller coaster of love, longing, and introspection. Each distinct improvisation is unique in that he's expressing the passing moments of his life, reiterating patterns of peaks and lows. Yet, it kind of feels like there's a tension. Something's missing that's causing all of his uncertainty. That's when the piano appears. The piano is so lush and harmonious that you can't help but feel a rush of peace. Coltrane's portraying a reflection of his wife, Naima, through the piano. We see little improvisation or change, almost like a dream or a fantasy. We also see the tension of the tenor sax solo dissipating. It's almost as if everything's eased by the reception of, well, love. Love? Love. A word so misconstrued in a world that feels so idealistic. It's easy to imagine picturesque romantic fantasies or friendships of camaraderie or families with unwavering support and affection. I mean, we see it in movies and shows all the time, so it must be the norm then, right? In preschool, I wanted to make friends, so I'd sit next to a kid and try to talk to them. I could just be my loud and annoying self, I told myself. We could talk about, who knows, like Cartoon Network or Skylanders, and I can even talk to this kid right here and maybe crack a joke, and oh, they didn't like that joke. Well, I mean, that's okay, I can cut it. I can get Vishik though, and look, they're laughing now, and oh, they're laughing at me. Well, that doesn't make me feel so good, but I mean, I guess I'm getting them to laugh, right? It should just be the norm then, right? Whatever. I'll be quiet when I talk about this, so they think I'm more like that, and I'll get interested in this, so we can talk about this. But I don't really feel like myself, though. Like, would they or anyone care about me if I didn't act that way? Well, no, it doesn't matter because they're my friends, right? It should just be the norm, right? Whatever. Well, my family, though, right? They shouldn't be much harder. I just have to do what I'm told, get good grades, take all the hard classes, and work hard on everybody. But what about the time for myself? Like video games or Dodgers or watching Iron Man? But no, they gotta go because I want to be loved by my family, right? But I'm tired though, I'm stressed. I feel like I'm running out. Shut up, no, wait. I don't know. I never asked for this, I don't want to do this. Who's this even for? Who am I? Why is this so weird? I don't think this is normal. Like, if this is what love is, then I don't want it. I'm scared at the thought of love. I felt myself slowly sink into my own skin, or my body was a filter from any ounce of emotion that I wish to express. But the scariest part is the thought that there's no one to turn to. The thought that if I were to go up to someone and share my emotions, they would look at me just like the kids in preschool with pure disgust. So, sinking to my skin became my identity. Rather than my once loud and talkative self, I became quiet and reserved. I became scared in the small social interactions, like asking for a pencil became horrifying, and even my peers changed from important figures to distant peers that I struggled to communicate to. Thus, it felt like I was wearing a muffle that clung to my skin and had unbreakable straps. This alone time meant for more time to think and reflect. but not entirely alone. With a single AirPod in my headphones, I'd use music to spiral through my thoughts and questions. I'd ask myself, like, what's changed, or why am I behaving this way? Music felt like the only thing I could really return to. I would sit in my car, room, basically anywhere just to try to swim out of my skin. But even with music, I never really could fully escape love, because genres such as R&B talked about heartbreak, and soul talked about familial love, and rap talked about lust, and even rock and roll had ounces of love in it. But then again, it also made me realize that if I was to find love in everywhere I searched, I really couldn't escape it forever. When I started playing jazz as a beginner sax player, I ran through all the soloists from Charlie Parker and Miles Davis and Louis Armstrong and then John Coltrane. When Coltrane talked about love, though, he spoke bluntly about it. He never sugarcoated the negative emotions that came along with it. At first I thought, if it felt so bittersweet all the time, then what was the point of even fighting for it? Over time, I kind of began to understand his appeal for it, which were the good and negative emotions that could craft something fulfilling. But, I mean, how could I trust it? It completely changed who I even was, so why even bother? It was one summer afternoon when I decided to partake in my usual routine of annoying my sister. Aside from knocking a few things over, I hardly remember anything except for one thing. She asked if I wanted to do a tarot card reading, which I accepted because, well, why not? She shuffled away the cards on the cold ground while I waited in my crisscross applesauce stance. She then read, well, I actually don't really remember, and I'm sure it was a jumble of mixed cards that didn't really mean anything. But throughout her long analysis, one line in passing really stuck with me. She read, loving yourself is loving others. The idea of loving myself lingered in my mind because, like, to who am I really even loving? It kind of sounds like egotism or vanity, and the idea kind of contradicts itself anyways. But I still couldn't budge the question, like, do I love myself? Because I hate the way that I always feel like I care too much, or I hate the way that I feel a need to put in effort, or I hate the way that I fall under pressure, or I hate the way that my younger self couldn't stand up to my own bullies, because I kind of hate a lot about myself. But then again, couldn't it also be a list of reasons as to why I love myself? If I only changed the word from hate to love, I would have a list of reasons as to why I love myself, such as loving my heart that feels a need to put time and effort into the people I love, or to love my humanity in the face of pressure, or just to love my younger self that was only lost and confused. I could love so much about myself. So I guess loving yourself means embracing your identity, despite hardship, flaw, and imperfection, because then again, without these three things, are we even really human? It often feels that we have to change or hide a part of ourselves in order to fit in order to be worthy of love. But what we forget are the vibrant characteristics that each of us share. Some of us are quiet, some of us are loud, some of us are talkative, and some of us are proactive. All of us kind of follow like the yin and yang. Unique characteristics that combine and craft a harmony which connect us all. Like, even in the case of the song, Naima's beautiful piano and Coltrane's rowdy sax, 2 points of contrast end up combining beautifully. If I could go back, I wish I could give my younger self a hug. A kid that was lost and confused and wished nothing more than love. I go on one knee, stretch my arms wide, and give him the soul of embracement and understanding. Because maybe that's all I ever needed, but maybe that's all we need. To be hugged and embraced just like warm, fluffy sourdough. I'm still not the loud and talkative kid I once was. I'm still quiet and reserved. I'm still confused as to who I even am sometimes, and I'm still insecure at being dejected by others. But then again, these are the pieces of myself, and nothing less than the pieces I love of myself. Our souls have a lot to give, but few are more powerful than love. So I want you to imagine this. You're staring into the eyes of a person you love. They're so hurt in the shot, but you have the power to mend it. At the end of the song, Coltrane combines the piano and the saxophone, emulating the power that love has to heal and protect others, its embrace, others, and, well, yourself. Love y'all. Love you too, sourdough.